inside of me. You better watch out if you ignite me's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the sword, never getting bored, loves the blood and gore. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force departed. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped, you'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me.
All right, everybody, welcome into Real Talk with the Big Spoon and Pudding. I don't know what episode we're on.
77, I think.
Well, 77.
Last one was 76 or whatever.
Happy Thanksgiving week to everybody.
Yep.
The primary purpose of this podcast is to educate and share thoughts and opinions. When we have proof and evidence on the topic, it will be brought forth. This podcast does not constitute advice or services to anyone. Spoon and Pudding do not accept any responsibility for or liability for anyone, our guests, or anyone's comments or actions based on material we talk about on our podcast. This podcast is for private, non-commercial use, and everyone should ascertain that the information we provide is correct and verified at all times. There shall be no editing or reproduction of this podcast without prior written permission from Spoon and Pudding. Reach us at realtalkwithspoonandpudding@gmail.com. You're going to have to go on.
What the hell? It's golden already.
That dumbass cat. I done fed him. He wants to come over and climb all over my laptop. All right.
Okay.
You got anything you want to talk about? Do you want me to just jump in on the local?
I asked you last week about the meetings, and you hadn't looked at them in over a month. And the city of Portland was thanking you for that, being late.
Well, I've been keeping up with stuff with the people I talk to, and
you didn't have really nothing local last week to talk about.
No, I didn't have everything put together. I wanted to make sure I had both the meetings in my back pocket, along with everything that I pay attention to and the people I talk to.
Just like me, I was busy last week getting ready to start that 2A podcast with me and Red.
You and Red?
Yep. So I was real busy and preoccupied with that, and been kind of preoccupied with that throughout the week, and working on building a website for that. Going to see how that turns out. Maybe we'll have to build a Spoon and Pudding website. I don't know. We'll discuss it later, but that's down the road. Yeah.
So you want to concentrate on that one? I wish you put a bunch of effort into this one.
Hey, hold on. I missed one. You missed two. So whatever.
I'm just giving you shit.
So now you got it all.
What do y'all liking? I know you're only on 2, but y'all liking how it's going so far?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised I was able to get that name. Last week's 2A, I was surprised that was available. I was like, holy shit. But like a post-production 2A news, what I was thinking, post-week, what we learned and, following all the breaking news in the Second Amendment community. Yeah. Plus, we're going to try to do gun videos and stuff on there, but not anything's going to get us in trouble with the tubes of you and everything.
Right.
But,
well, we jump in there locally. There's a lot that's went on. Not a lot that shocked me, but maybe shocked other people. I don't know. We're in a drought, so the water moratorium is on the bow again. We ain't had no rain. We ain't had no rain. But yet we handed out 75 more water taps to Mitchellville.
Well, of course, people power is going to be. They're going to get there.
Well, I say to Mitchellville, they were handed out in Mitchellville, but it's people that are in Portland that own the land that are probably building the subdivisions or whatever. But still, it's the point that I still go back to this. Mitchell's had sewer since 1999 from the city of Portland. You got Vaughn Parkway out there in Robertson County that has sewer. I'm 1.5 miles behind MAPCO of the dead center of town, 109. And I don't have access to sewer in the city. And not just me, there's a lot of us. It's just still mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? How an outside community, an outside county can have access to your city sewer and your residents.
Because the rich people don't want to pay for septic systems. They'd rather just pay a tap and have the sewer tied in. That's why. I mean, we've discussed this in the past.
Yeah.
The rich people that own land and have all the power and the political control in town, they say, well, I don't want to spend, what is it these days? Probably 10, 15 grand to put in a septic system.
Oh, probably more than that. I don't know.
That's exactly. Well, how much is it to tie into a city taxpayer funded sewer septic system?
If they were to run sewer down this road here and you had to get the permit, pay somebody to run the line, and then pay their tap fee, it'd probably cost you 20 grand just for that. And then
No. If the sewer line come down your road, what would your cost be to tie into it?
Their tap fee would probably be $10,000 or $15,000 just a tap fee. Not including.
Oh
yes.
Well, you need.
Yes.
Ask. You need to ask how much. I don't think it'd be that high.
Oh yeah.
The sewer. If it's going to a treatment plant where they're trying to treat it.
Yeah, but you got to understand. On Meadow Lane, when we tapped in there about 15 years ago, it was like a $10,000 to $15,000 tap fee back then. And the water treatment plant needs more and more upgrades, and the system's overloaded now. I would think the tap fee would probably at least that much, if not more. I mean, that's including the price with the permit and everything. You know, the city guy coming out there and
something about that don't sound right. I mean, it might be 10, 20 grand, but I don't think they'd make you pay that. That's what I'm asking.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The homeowner has to pay that. Absolutely.
Well, if that's the case, if it's 20 grand for a septic system, why not buy that and just tell the city to fuck off?
Well, you probably get a septic system cheaper than 20 grand. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to do the pricing, but I would think
that's what I'm saying. I can
10 to
what's
15
the
grand.
I'm saying the septic system. You're okay. You have a septic system, so occasionally you need to pump and you got to do periodic maintenance on it. But you also don't have a septic bill either.
No.
You'd be getting a monthly bill, which is where the city, makes its money. Or some of it.
Well, speaking on that, so Mitchell's getting 75 more taps outside the city of Portland, but it's the people that own the property over there that live in Portland, or the money guys that have land out there. They're going to be putting in subdivisions and stuff.
They're going to be right on top of our mutual buddy up there who hates it.
But yeah. Mr. Palladini.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he hates it. What's going on?
So the thing I don't understand, and Alderwoman Thompson, I'm glad she said what she said. She wanted to put a amendment on there about we're giving out these 75 taps, but only to the people that are requesting them. Like, we're not going to give out these 75 taps. Now the land and everything price goes up, and the owners say, hey, we want to sell this land to somebody else who wants to do another development, and then they buy it because the taps are already there. No, if you sell that land, those taps come back to the city of Portland, and then the new owners can come back and request them. So I think that's a great thing. That should be that all the time. Some of the people on the board tried to disagree with her. I think Drew was one of them. Drew Jennings talking about, have we ever done that? What do you mean, have we ever done that? Because he asked her, have we ever done that in the city of Portland? Well, first of all, it's not the city of Portland. It's outside the city of Portland. And I think we should always do that, especially when it's outside the city. What takes some big powerhouse money guy coming in here buying a couple hundred acres of land, requesting 100 taps to build houses? He gets the taps, the water taps, sewer taps approved through the city, and he's outside the city limits. And it doubles the price of what his land's worth, and he turns around and sells to somebody else, and then they want to put in a a trailer park on one side and 4-story apartments on the other side. And that's not what the water taps were given out for. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So props to Otto Warma Thompson for getting that amendment in there. I think that it's beneficial to the city. Another thing is, guess what? Water rates are going up again. Even after all that ordeal where it's going up the next 5 years and all that, now that's going up even more. And your trash rate's going to go up. Your sewer rate's going to go up. It's never ending. I understand they were behind, and I'm not opposed to, hey, let's look at where we're really at, the households we have in the city that we provide water to. This is what the taxpayers in the city pay, and then outside the city doing that. But we got to be realistic. Like people saying, oh, it can't be raised. I mean, be realistic. It's got to be raised. If it ain't been raised in 5 or 7 or 10 years, of course it's going to go up. But they already come to us twice with this different plan that they worked and voted on and redacted and added to for the next 5 years, and said, okay, this is going to put us where we need to be. And now they're in there voting and talking about raising the water rates another 50 cents or $1, and trash rates. And this is what gets me about the trash rates. Our trash rates keep going up, which I understand we have to take our trash to Sumner County, and you got to deal with all that. But as a member of the public in the city, the benefits of the trash pickup or the brush used to be really, really, really good. Like they would pick up anything. Now they only pick up certain things, and you got to have like your brush a certain way for the truck and all that. I understand all that, but our rates keep going up, and they pick up less. Like if you wanted to remodel your house, right? Mm-hmm. And throw everything out there, the city should pick it up like they used to. No, they won't do it. It's your job to dispose of it. But if you just have a random refrigerator or something you want to throw out there, they'll pick it up. It's like, why am I going to pay more for you to do your service and you give me less? How about we have an option that I don't have to pay for your service of brush removal and junk removal, and you don't give me that fee, and I don't say anything about the road. Do we have that option? Of course not. So if we don't have the option and your price is going to keep going up, of course, your disposal prices are going up. I understand all that. But if we don't have the option to opt out, anything that I sit out there, within reason, of course, everything's within reason. You got to pick it up.
Apologize. Sorry. Well, I mean, you have a truck. It's not like you couldn't take off your brush yourself and worry about it and not have to pay the fee.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but I don't have the option of not paying that fee. So why wouldn't I put the brush at the road and let them pick it up? Because they're taking it and grinding it up, using it as mulch. So they're getting the benefit from it. The stuff they can use. Now there's going to be some of the brush that's got to be burned or disposed of, but most everything that I put out there is good reusable stuff. You see what I'm saying? The only time that I ever put anything out there that wasn't was when I cleared this back. It was nothing but briars and stuff, and I had to put out there. All that stuff wasn't any good. But any of the other stuff that I put out there, it's good stuff. I mean, they're getting benefit out of it. It's just the point.
I mean, it's the sewage thing. They get benefit out of that too. They actually, I think they actually reprocess that, and they can, resell it.
Well, if they're doing the things the right way, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it too. But of course, there's a lot of costs in running it.
Here's from the PDF. City of Portland, 2019. That was what showed up on the PDF from the City of Portland sewer. So something about a 750. Let me get just wanted to show where it says 750 on here, and then down here it says something about 1750. Just from my top half reading at the bottom, it says single family resident, 1 unit, 1750 capacity fee. I don't see that what you're talking about. And I think that would be demonstrably price constrained if they wanted $15,000 to tie into the city. Does it cost the city $15,000? Probably, to lay there's a lot of expense that goes on the city. Why do you think the city owes how many millions of dollars they're in debt to?
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you want to tie in, say they run sewer down a road finally, and you're able to tie into it, the city does none of the work. What they do is you get your permit, and they send a guy from the city out here to watch their sewer line, and you pay somebody else that's licensed, insured, bonded to do the work and run your line from your house to their tap at the road. And the only thing the city does is make sure he taps it in right. So you're doing all the work, or your guy's doing all the work. All the city's doing is watching. So I need to find out those numbers, but
I'm saying what is okay now? No, all I was saying was the city provides a septic system line out at the road. They provide that. Whether you tie into it or not is your personal choice.
Right.
What I'm saying is would it be cheaper? And I believe it would be to tie into the city for somebody who's just looking to flip a house.
Absolutely.
Than putting in a septic system. And you said it would cost all this money. I'm thinking, no, it probably didn't cost more than $5,000 to tie into the septic. Have somebody run the line from your house to the line. And then the $1,750, $750. Those are the numbers I just see in here. Possible $2,500 connection fee to the city, and if you can get a contractor to run the line from the house to the city for $2,500, it's $5,000. So it's cheaper than a septic system.
Yeah, it's going to be more than that. I guarantee you. I know what you found there. I'm just telling you it's wrong.
I'm just telling you that's what I just found out while we were talking about it. I'm like, let me go see what I can find on the City of Portland's website, and it's. No, look, the whole benefit of government is to get taxpayers to pay for, wealthy people's investments and, mismanage the money, which is what happens all the time. It's why most rich people in government are rich. They figured out the easy way to, foot the bill off on the taxpayer, make it a social loss for the people, the little guy. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
Why? But I'm just saying, I mean, short of, the, whatever the construction is. And again, you're building 75 houses and if you're building one house and somebody let's say he wants $4,000 to run the line to the road for one house. You're building 75 houses. Now you can negotiate.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll hire you if you do it for $1,750. And then he's got a lot of work. He might be able to do 3 houses in a day. Depending on how fast he is. You get industrial pricing and it saves money. But again, the real price of a septic system is that big concrete box that goes in the ground, digging a big ass hole and then putting in a drain fill.
Yep.
That's a huge cost. And with the city out there, you ain't got to do that. It's just one line, house to road. So what's the next topic of it? We talked about.
Well, I mean, like I said, the water rates are going up, sewer rates, trash rates. They're talking about raising. I think it's 50 cents or might be $1. Talk about the moratorium. It's on the brink. Of course, everybody knows we ain't had any rain. Good thing that did come out. Portland received the grants that they've been working on. So, I'm very critical of the board and the mayor when they don't do the right things right, or I don't feel like they do things right. So you have to give them props when you get good things. So I've been really impressed with some of the board members, Brian Woodall, Alderwoman Thompson. Of course, Jody's always in there asking the questions. So I thank you guys for doing that. And but the big grant they got was the state was only giving out $100 million to any of the cities throughout the state. $100 million on projects. Portland got 20 million of it. So they got 1/5 of the whole state's allocations on that one big grant. And then they got another $4 million grant, I think, $3 or $4 million grant. So this is for water.
Depending on how you look at it, it could be a bad thing. Look at it through the lens of, we got to give you 20% of this because your town sucks.
Well, I'm trying to look at the good side. I'm hoping.
I understand, but are they going to mismanage it like they done the other $50 million they have?
Yeah, I mean that's always there. I'm trying to look past that and think, look, they put in this work. The mayor and the staff behind the scenes and the board, they put in this work. They put in time. They've got these grants. The things that they've been working hard on is paying off, and it looks like it's going to be great for the city and great for the people. So I'm looking past that, going, no, I'm not going to think they're going to mismanage the money. I'm not going to think anything bad.
Well, didn't you say something about the Farmers Bank? How much work it's going to need for the chamber?
The old Farmers Bank, yeah.
How much work is it going to need for the chamber, and who's got to pay to fix that? But some of that $20 million is going to get mismanaged.
I hope not, dude.
I
was such in a good mood and a good line.
You pessimistic asshole.
I was shooting nothing but positivity towards the board and the mayor and the
okay,
city.
I got it. All right.
And you just crashed another 180.
I just wanted to say it. They're the ones that got a building for $1. The city's got to fix the structure.
Yeah, the city's got to. They got to put money in.
Yeah, that's the point. How much is that going to cost? It's not free.
But that grant money, hopefully, is going to be separate, and they can't touch it.
The unicorn's going to come over to the bank there and shit on it and make it fucking fiery fix itself. Is that what you're thinking?
So maybe they'll just mismanage the money they already have and not the grant money. Okay.
I get it. You were being an optimist and I was being a pessimist. I got it. The glass half empty. You're like glass half full. Fine.
And then the airport, Doug. I don't know if I want to say his name, but he does. I ain't gonna say his last name, but he does good work out there at the airport. They got another grant. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been out to the airport, but over the years, it's gotten bigger, improvements after improvements. They did a good job out there, so they got another grant they was working on. So I've never flown in and out of the airport. Now my cousin, he's good buddies with a lot of them out there, and he has his own plane, and he flies in and out all the time.
I don't feel sorry for airport. I mean, with the cost of a plane, you're not paying a decent fee for the airport you're using, well, maybe you should donate the money to charity. What's a plane? What are planes costing these days? 50 grand, 100 grand, cheap. I mean, I'm just talking about a cheap, like single engine. Some of these people got them,
this airport gets used a whole lot more than what people think it does. Fort Campbell night exercises uses it a whole lot.
Really?
Yes.
101st?
Yeah.
So they, what do they use it for?
They do training, and then they probably the refuel too.
Okay. I always see their Chinooks and stuff flying over here, out in the Cotton Town area.
Oh yeah.
And I see the Chinooks, and I keep thinking, come on, land, land here and jump out and let it land on my yard, but make sure it's full. We have some good military equipment in there. That's so you can just jump out of Raptors and stuff, and oops, we can't find it.
See, that's Braxton's branch there, buddy. 101st Airport.
Well, then tell him when he gets a fully loaded Chinook that he needs to get about 4 feet off the ground in my yard here and then jump out, haul it in, and then I'll take it from there.
I bet he'll get right on that.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Hey, we got a comment. Yep.
Wow.
Here's the big one. Well, I call it the big one because I think it's controversial. When you have the public recognition at the beginning of the last meeting. You had 2 firefighters up there. I think it was 2. One of them was the husband of Alderwoman Thompson. And I think the other guy, I can't remember his name. I think it was Shoemaker. But anyway, they were in there to speak on. And if I'd have been there, I'd have spoke on their behalf with them, because I thought it was kind of crock of shit myself. But there was a bill come up. I say bill, or whatever. They wanted to reduce their comp time like by 3/4. And I'll explain this. Their firefighters, their comp time is based on what they work, right? They've already worked it. They just didn't get paid for it. So right now, and before the meeting, they had 480 hours that they could build up of comp time. This is time that they've already worked. The city should have already paid them for, because they work 24, 48-hour shifts, right? Not 8 or 10 hours, whatever the city works. So they're completely separate from any other entity. Even the police officers, the firemen have their own, and that's why I said if I was there, I would have spoke on their behalf too, because I think it's horseshit. Is 480 hours maybe too much? You could probably talk about that, but the fact is they've always had that comp time. And when I say they've already worked and already should have been paid for that, when they work in so much overtime, they have that option of, hey, I've already put my time in for the week, and this is extra. Say they work 2 extra days this week. Instead of getting paid for it in lieu of overtime, they can book that as comp time and let it build up, and then get paid when they want to take off. Say they want to use it to take off for a week of vacation, or they want to take it a day at a time, or they want to say, hey, will you cash me out 5 days of comp time? Now you got to remember, they've already worked it. The city is already on the hook for paying them that money time and a half. All they did was bank it and say, don't pay me now, pay me later. So the city gets the benefit of that money sitting back and them drawing interest off that money. Drew Jennings even talked about it last night. They draw 3 to 5% interest on that money sitting there. So the chief, the fire chief, brought that to the council, wanting them to take their comp time from 480 hours to 120 hours. It's a big deal. You got to think it like this. Well,
they're trying to make them draw down the time so that it's
they can't go
by 3/4.
Yeah, they can't go above 120 comp hours.
Who wants to do that?
That's what the fire chief brought to the city. And then here's the big bugaboo. The mayor jumped in and said, talking to the firemen and the other, don't blame him, blame me, because I'm the one that wanted this brought to you guys. I mean, he threw his. I'm either going to give him props because as a leader, he took his head, put it in the chopping block, and wanted them to blame all him. I want to say that, but I don't think that's the case. I think that's the case is he's the control power hungry thing that I told you he is.
He's got a lot of money sitting in a slush fund somewhere that's drawing interest that flops over into look, I put some decorations up through Portland, with the city's money.
Well, they try to use excuses. They try to use excuses like, well, the auditors think you shouldn't have it there, and it's a nightmare to keep up with. And
I think you got on their nerves when you went on that radio show that first time and said that guy asked you what you wanted to do, and you said, I want to bring in some auditors and find out what money's been spent. I think that's when they really hated your ass.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
Remember that lawyer who killed his wife and kid because she was going to audit the business?
What lawyer?
The lawyer, Braddock, where the whole, remember?
I don't know. That Carolina thing? Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah, the guy that she's talking about something different.
I know. But here's the thing. Why wouldn't you? Even this mayor.
Well, this administration is not going to. They're not going to audit themselves because it might show some discrepancies.
But I'm just saying, even this mayor, when he got the job, he come off a 3+ term administration that they say wasn't very good. So why would you walk in and take over and let them hand you what they say is right when you've been fighting? Hey, that's not right. I want to be mayor now. Why would you just take over and take that and go, let's run with this?
She
That's
went into
why I said,
unless he got pulled into the proverbial Bill Hicks smoke-filled room where they show all right, here's the deal. We'll be honest with you now, you're the boss, but
that's why I said if I was to win mayor,
do what we say or we'll destroy you.
The first thing I'm going to do is bring in outside people that has nothing to do with this good old boy corruption bullshit here, and let them go through it with a fine-tooth comb and say, what's good, what's bad, where are we lacking, where are we wasting money, who's lying, who's hiding, who's cheating, get it all straight, and then let's go. Okay. I'm not going to take over somebody else's crap and just keep on chugging the freaking wagon down the road. It's only got one wheel. And
I just kind of wonder if you could get on the council, though. I do wonder that. Like, if you ran for being on the city council.
Well, I guess unless they all got out there and campaigned to keep me off, I guess I could. I mean, I will see. We'll see. I'm still planning on running next year. So I think you got 4 seats up.
Is it 4?
Yeah. Well, you had Drew, Thompson, Hall. Was a 3 this time.
It was 3, but the 4th ended up being Dillard.
Yeah. So you got 4. Dillard seats up next. So you got 4. You got
maybe you could get Dillard's seat. Yeah. I don't know how many people like the Toya.
I personally like that woman, but I don't see what benefit. I wish Mr. Dillard would just kept his head about him, stayed there till his time was out. But I don't know.
If he'd have been driving that tractor up there, naming who was some of the other people that came close.
Oh
gosh, there wasn't the cop that used to live over there by the airport.
Oh, those Scruggs.
Scruggs would have probably been a good one. Better than Holcomb.
I thought Scruggs was a shoe-in as long as he was a police officer here, and
he was a police officer, and he was born and raised here. His whole family was from here. Well, you think that would get him in there over Holcomb?
I would have thought so, but what do I know? But we always say,
I'm just saying, if Dillard would have been riding a tractor with your name on it, and Holcomb or Scruggs and the other people, everybody opposite of who was already seated,
Would it have been a good deal? Would it have been a good thing with Mr. Dillard riding this tractor with my name on it? I don't know if that'd have been a good thing or not. As much turmoil was going at that time. We got to get him back on here.
You got his number, message him. Say you want to come on?
Nah, too late in this. But here's the other bugaboo in this. All right. You got Alderwoman Thompson's husband, Drew, who talked.
Hey, wait a minute. Has Dillard been to jail since that stir?
I don't think so.
Has his neighbor been to jail since the stir?
Oh, yes.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
We still got that to talk about. But Alderwoman Thompson's husband, Drew's a firefighter. He talked about this in the beginning and his supposed expression. And what I was getting at is the reason they have that comp time is when they were shorthanded, they worked so much. Holidays, they're there. Right? If it's Christmas, they're working a 24-hour shift. Everybody else is at home. He talked about last night, and I think the other guy did, with they missing their kids' birthdays or football games or baseball games. They have to miss all that because they're there at the fire hall or they're fighting fires, what they're doing, whatever shift they're on 24, 48 hours. When they're there, they're there. It ain't, hey, I got to run here. They got to be there. So that comp time is there. Like I said, can we argue or discuss if 480 is probably way too much? We could talk about that. But the fact is they already have the 480. So for the mayor and the fire chief to want to take them from 480 to 120, first of all, I think it's a slap in the face. And I'm on their side. I'm on the firefighter side. Why Why would you want to do that to your employees? Number one, your employees, number one, but two, you're firing them. Look, me and you, we don't like bad police. All right, we accept and respect good police.
I don't, the firemen,
but I still wouldn't want to pull anything away that's beneficial to my police officers, even if I thought 10 out of 12 of them were a-holes. You see what I'm saying? I go up there, I think there's 24 firefighters or 23, 24. I could go up there, 21 out of 24 of them I could think they were pricks. They didn't like me. I didn't like them. I still would not want to pull anything away from them that's beneficial. And that's me not liking them. That's not me being their boss. As their boss and the head of the city, why would you want to put your department in that scenario and take away from your employees? And these are the people that are protecting your city and your residents from not just fires. When there's they're the first person is usually on scene, right? When you call 911, if it's most of the time firefighters, the first one there.
Well, it depends. Is the police chief and all his little buddies at the breakfast in the center of town together or not? I don't know. I'm just messing. You sent me that picture that one time with like 8 squad cars in there with the chief's car.
Yeah. Hey, long as they're having a good productive meeting and breakfast, I'm fine with that. But you can't take everybody that's on your payroll that day that's supposed to be out and keeping the the city.
I don't know. I hope maybe we did something good, because I really haven't, since I brought that point up that was a few shows back about seeing that wreck just outside the city limits and the county and statey showing up and saying that was halfway between where Portland PD is sitting. I haven't seen the Portland PD back in that crosswalk. Probably because they do know what they're doing is wrong. And I did state a time and a date where you could look up an accident. Why didn't you respond here, Portland? You're patrolling past here, but you didn't show you know, you have that big fire station, just up there, just past the BP. That wasn't your truck that showed up on scene. I guarantee you that was the community volunteer firefighters truck that showed up, which is right next door.
Yeah. If it's outside the city, it was.
That's what I'm saying. You're not responding to an accident outside the city limits, but you're trying to write tickets for people speeding outside the city limits.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It's just got to be on the other side in Robertson County.
Oh yeah, though. Yeah.
It's got to be over.
Yeah, the fire truck up there by the, Mitchellville Road. Yeah, we can send them over to Robertson County.
Yeah. But circling back to this, and then it was discussed, but this was a long discussion and stuff, and they even tried to defer it, and then they voted down the deferment. That way they could get some more numbers and talk about it, because I guess they wanted to vote on it and vote it down. But then you had amendments to this bill. I say bill, provision, whatever you want to call it. I know they call it something else, but it's still a bill brought to the board. But here's the thing: there was people commenting on their stream that I went back and tried to look at, and I've talked to people around the city. I don't know if it's against anything, but I know ethically you would think it would be. But with this deal dealing with her husband, she sat up there and voted on every amendment and voted on the bill.
Oh, you're talking about Thompson?
Yeah. Me personally.
So she's voting on firefighter bills, and her husband's a firefighter, and she didn't recuse herself.
Right.
But she's legal. They know.
Now, I'm going to say this personally. I'm okay with it. Ethically.
Well, you can go look at our YouTube channel and listen to her husband Drew, tell us how we're going to run our show. That video is still. I know. I'm not trying to drag it up, but it's it's ethics. You should recuse yourself if you have a conflict of interest.
That's what I'm saying. Me personally,
was it? Didn't old man Harbin? Didn't the Harbin guy used to recuse himself on votes?
He said
was it Michelle Harbin's dad or something? Didn't he used to? I thought you said you talked to him about something like that.
Oh, he said he wasn't going to ever run it before because he wasn't going to put himself in that position of having to step away.
Vote on things. Yeah. Okay. No, that's what I was saying.
That's why I say personally, it don't really bother me that much. I mean, I don't know what I would have to do if I was in that position. I think I would step away.
If Miss Spoon was a firefighter and you was on the city council,
yeah, or whatever. But I was just bringing that up because a lot of people have commented about it. A lot of people commented on their news feed or their thing about it. A lot of people's asked me about it. The legality of that, I don't know. I would have to look all that up, but I would think morally and ethically, you would want to recuse yourself from that situation. But I also know personally, you're sitting there, you get a vote, and it benefits you, it benefits your husband, it benefits the rest of the firefighters. So you would want to stay in there too. So I'm not going to say anything bad about that.
I'm saying, what was the vote count?
Well, here's the thing: on the deferment, it was 4-3, no, not to defer it. If she were to use her vote from that, it would have been 3-3, and the mayor would have tied because he could have voted. So, but on the flip side, after they got their amendments, it was unanimous. So her vote, if she would accuse herself, it would have still went the way it went on all of it. The only thing
the deferment is just
the first
they
wanted to defer it until March.
Next year.
Let the first of the year kick in, him to get his new firefighter to see if everything worked out to where they had better numbers of what they were looking at, and if he wasn't going to have as much overtime and all that, and then come back. That was the first vote before all the amendments was to defer it. She didn't recuse herself. If she had to recuse herself, it would come down to the mayor. If the mayor would have said, yes, let's defer it, that would have won. It would have pushed it to March, coming back up for revote. Okay. She didn't. So the deferment failed. So then it brought up where they could amend, take out, and leave the comp time at 480 hours. So that's what happened. And a lot of people were commenting on their thread. A lot of people were texting me. A lot of people were asking me. So that's the reason I brought that aspect up. Personally, if I was sitting there, I don't know what I would do. Her husband you got to look at it like this. It's not her fault their husband works as a firefighter and he works for the city, right? It's not her fault because she's in that position. He's in that position. So, she's already there. She's doing her job. It just happens that she's there. Like I said, a lot of people think ethically, morally, she should recuse herself. Personally, that's what I'm saying. I'm there. I don't know what I do any different because if I'm already there sitting on the board and I'm supposed to be voting on these things, yeah, this is going to benefit. I think that's different if I have seen her recuse herself on some of the properties that her family owns, like cousins or whatever. So I think it's a big difference in that, recuse yourself for that because there's a lot more benefit from that than this situation to where your husband or wife may be a fireman or a police officer and you're voting on something. I don't know what you think, but I feel like it's a big difference. Like you say your uncle comes there and you got to vote on this 500 acres of land and and you don't recuse yourself and you vote in his favor. I think that's a bigger difference. Like I've seen her recuse herself from those votes because it's family and stuff. So what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, if they've already got the money and the city's already got it, why are they trying to shrink it? And how are they trying to? It's stupid. Why change it? If the firefighters are happy, then shut the fuck up, mayor, and go away, dumbass.
This is what I don't understand.
It's like you're getting and that was
they've already worked that time. That money was already supposed to be paid out, right?
Yeah, so it's money that's left in the fucking bank account that the city owns.
The city owed them the money 2 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, a year ago, whatever. So I don't know why that was a big deal. Like I said, I want to think the mayor was trying to be, hey, I'm going to take all the blame on this. I'm going to be the leader and take the pressure and the blame off by fire chief so they can all look bad at me and not look bad at him. But I don't think that was the case. I think this truly came from him and other power struggle of him, wanting to control things. And it didn't go his way. Thank goodness. Those guys put their
it didn't go his way because somebody who should have recused themselves didn't. that what you're saying?
Well, no, no, that's not the only reason. The reason it didn't is because a lot of level-headed people like Alderwoman Thompson and Woodall and McDowell and the firemen showing up to speak. Enough level-headed people got in there and gave their opinion and said, "Look, it's been this way. We already owe them that money. They have to take their time away from their home. They have to be there 24, 48-hour shifts. You know, they're saving people. They're putting their life on the line. Why are we going to take this away from them? We already owe them the money. You know, they worked overtime for the last year and they built up 240 hours of comp time that we should already pay them, but that money's set in the bank. So why should we take that time away from them?"
Don't make no sense.
Like I said,
You would,
me and you,
unless
that we can sit here and
the only
discuss
thing, unless there was some unrestricted thing where, you know, I mean, as long as it was restricted payout where they can't, you know, they couldn't all like, you know, shrink it to a skeleton crew and just take, you know, weeks off, which I'm
Right.
sure there is. You know, it'd be like your job if everybody could build up extra time by working overtime and not getting paid for it. And then you could set it aside for weeks off. And then all of a sudden, you know, half a shift wants to take off for, you know, 2 weeks to go on some cruise or something.
No, I mean, your shift, it's like anywhere else.
Everyone has to put in for it, and only so many people are allowed to take it.
Right.
It's
It's all pre-planned. Like I said, we can sit here and discuss. They can discuss. Is 480 hours too much? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, you look at if they work 20, if you work 24-hour shifts, if you work 24-hour shifts, it's only 20 days a year. 24-hour shifts, 480. That's only 20 days a year. If you look at the aspect of that. So if that firefighter worked, you know, just crap. I think
40.
I think they were talking last night that the former or the fire chief now, when he wasn't a fire chief back when he worked over 5,000 hours one year.
How's that a lot?
Well, I mean, I don't know. If you say a typical person works, say 45 hours a week times 52, that's 2,340 hours. So 5,000 divided by 52, that's 96 hours a week.
Yeah, but you gotta remember some of that sleeping. You know, they do get to sleep on the job. So, I mean, I will say that'll be my pessimistic point that, you know, if nothing's happening, it's not like they don't have beds up there. They can just go sleep in there. You know, the next thing you know, you've done teleported 8 hours away of pay, you know.
Yeah, but you got to understand that. Yeah, they're getting sleep.
Well, but no, okay.
Well, away from home.
Wait. Well, what I'm saying is no, there's nothing wrong with it. What I'm saying is if 4 days a week he's working and 8 hours of 4 days in that week he's asleep. See what I'm saying? Possibly. Very possible. No, it's not possible. It's very possible. I would say that.
Well, through the day, he's probably getting his 8 hours sleep. But I'm just saying, just because he's there at the fire hall and he lays down to go to sleep, he's probably not getting 8 hours straight because there's probably a call coming in. He's getting up and.
Well, how many? Okay, when I was working, when I worked at Cal, and when I you know I do what I work now, I work 60 hours and I'm up for the whole 60.
Right.
I've worked close to 70 hours and been up for the whole damn 70.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, you know. So when you're sitting there saying, you know, could he be sleeping for, you know, 32 hours of the 92 in that week? But sure.
He's still there.
You know, 60. And then, that doesn't, you know, he wasn't standing out there with a fire hose for 60 hours putting fires down. That's all I'm saying.
I understand that. And I'm completely fine with it. With the hours they got.
Look, I don't care how they do their system. I don't care how they do their structure. It's the structure and it's worked so far. But to say that they're on a crash scene and they're putting out fires for 70 hours a week, I would highly doubt that. But they do have, you know, what they watch TV. They've got, it's like living in a house, right? Until
they got training. Yeah, they got training. They got all that. Right, you're right now, but I would say probably 20 years ago when they were shorthanded, they were probably doing 70-hour working. I would probably say, on calls because they were so shorthanded.
They want you to believe that, I think. Remember there was an old Simpson episode a long time ago where Homer become a truck driver, and then they were telling him to be quiet because the trucks drove themselves, and all you did was hang out in the semi truck. It had autopilot. You remember that?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying. I remember that old episode, but I sit there and I think the firefighters, of course, they want you to think that they're constantly working, but they're only working when some shit happens.
Well,
If a 24-hour period goes by where no shit happens, they had that whole 24-hour period just living like they were at home. But sure, they might, if they're at the building, got you. They're at the building.
And I'm fine with that.
The building, they playing poker,
You know what? You know what I call that? A good day.
I don't have a problem with them. I don't have a problem with them. I'm just saying, like
It's not apples and apples. It's not orange and orange. Well, yes, I understand that.
Braxton's, your son's friend who, bought something from him that we've talked about, as an EMT, he talks about, he worked 24 and 40-hour shifts, but he gets to sleep.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he already said that. That's the only reason I bring that up. And I'm not going to say his name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And, he talks about, I said, because he told me he's worked 48 straight hours. And I said, excuse me? He said, oh, we get to sleep. I'm like, oh, and then it dawned on me. You get to sleep. You get to sit wherever they're sitting. And when you're not sleeping, sure, you might have to wake up after 4 hours of sleep and then take off on a call. I got that. But once the call's over in an hour, okay, back to bed.
Right.
It ain't like you can't just lay on back down and go right back to sleep again. So it isn't the grueling thing that they want you to believe, that, their eyes are open with tape and they got it, held open like, big, being, safety oriented, that's what I was saying about being a truck driver. I mean, you're up, there's times where you can fall asleep, you get your lucky, 2-3 hour naps. I had some last week. Oh boy.
I fell asleep driving all the time. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a truck's I got you, Homer. You're telling people about our autopilot again. Don't do that. But anyway, so what's the next topic? Like I said,
that's all I got right now.
Leave the 480. That's all you got. Well, I don't know. There was nothing else in the meeting that stood out. I just figured to just make this. Because I asked you last week at the close of the show, I was trying to hold the Portland stuff to the end. And I was like, I ain't watched the meeting yet. And I'm like, well, get to it, damn it. Shit.
Yeah, I had watched the second meeting, and basically, this is moratoriums on the brink because we ain't had no rain. So we're still handing out water taps, even though we're, on the brink of moratorium because we ain't got no water. And your water rate's going up, your sewer rates are going to go up, trash rates are going to go up.
All I know is I'm watching, but what I heard in the national news this week that stood out was Amazon is laying off a lot of its Alexa workers. Walmart's talking about big deflation. So economically speaking, we're in a lot of trouble. My 2A news, I'm going to hold for the 2A show.
Yeah.
But
Amazon needs to do something because, boy, they suck. I'm just going to put it. They're sucking. I order packages. I got 3, right? And this is not the first time it's happened. And I told them, hey, do it all the same day. That way they can come together. Because one could have been overnight and the next one could have been the next day. I'm like, no, wait 2 or 3 days. You can put them all 3 together on your Prime Day, which was supposed to have been Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And it was supposed to have been here by 8 o'clock last night. They didn't even ship. And it's sitting there going, I track it, it's still saying it'll be there by 8 o'clock. I'm like, it's not even shipped. It can't be here. It's 7:59. It ain't shipped. It's not going to be here today. And this is not the first time it's happened. You've had a week I could have got it overnight, but I gave you a week and you didn't ship it.
Well, I don't know.
I don't need it. It's just the point that.
But my shirt it's because I'm black, isn't it? Fight AR-15 semi-auto discrimination.
I was going to get us some DILF. I was going to get us some DILF shirts.
Some what shirts?
DILF.
Dad, I like it. Someone said she can make them for you.
Good. We'll tell her to make us. It says, "Damn, I love firearms."
Oh, I said, come on now, it's Dad. I'd like to.
No. Absolutely not. All right. On that note, music.
Come on now, you know that's funny. I don't care who you are. It's funny
Hey, before we go,
Mhm.
like I said, Portland got those grants. It's going to be helpful. So good job to the mayor and staff on that. Thank you for your hard work. The board.
Thank you for showing that Portland needs 20% of the allotment of grants because you've done such a fine job of making a great city. Tongue in cheek,
and city council, y'all seems like y'all been stepping up and working hard and paying more attention, doing more due diligence. So I appreciate that. So keep that up. There, most of you anyway.
Are you going to be back next week, Spoon?
Yeah, I'll be here next week. What you talking about?
Okay, I just wanted to ask. How's the green screen? I can see the hue. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see a little bit of the green when you do movements, but I think it's pretty cool.
I don't know. I got it after the show. It came in Sunday afternoon. I wanted to try it. But all right, I guess we'll get some music and get up out of here and see y'all next week.
See you next week. Thanks, guys.
Let's see. Well, that's taking a while to queue up. But we'll see y'all